Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Daily EPL Talk. Well, all the matches are over, and obviously, you will see more tomorrow when you wake up. But what a night or what a day it was of EPL. Some surprises, some expected, and some turnarounds. We all got everything that we expect from English Premier League, which is drama, sensation, fight back, as well as some disappointments. So let's quickly go with the roundup because tomorrow will be another set of matches. So what did we really have today to discuss? Well, let's go over all the matches and see what we learned or we did not learn so far yet. First, we will start off with Leicester versus Arsenal. Leicester lost 0-2. Did they deserve it? Absolutely not. So let's talk about it. Were Arsenal really good? Yes, they did not let in any goal, as well as I think a clean sheet itself is something which they probably deserve, and they have been going on few clean sheets now for a while. And the position at which they are sitting, I think it's well deserved by them as well. Nobody would have imagined that after the first international break where they were sitting at the bottom, and obviously everybody had ruled out Mikel Arteta and what Arsenal will achieve. But what a turnaround! However, can we bet upon them remaining solid at the back? I think it's too early, because if it wouldn't have been for some fantastic saves by Aaron Ramsdale, I don't think this would have been a clean sheet. In the first half, or if we have to further narrow it down, in first 20 minutes, Leicester City were horrible. They were absolutely horrible. I mean, I thought probably they will let in some 4 or 5 goals. But then they really came back well, and 2 half-time substitutions from Brendan Rodgers really did amazing job. But if it wouldn't have been for Aaron Ramsdale and his man of the match performance, the scoreline could probably have been very different. So nothing learnt in this game about Arsenal. I think they have already gone through some tough matches, and we know how they performed. But again, this was a game where it was all about the goalkeeper and nothing else. Leicester City, we hope they will have better days. I think this was a game where we wanted to see who makes a better stamp in recovery. That's what we thought about yesterday, or we posted on our website EPL24x7, who has a better recovery. And I think it seems like Arsenal have a better recovery, but is that recovery something that I can bet upon? I don't think so yet. So let's see next week how Arsenal comes back. The next game, let's talk about Burnley versus Brentford. So Burnley won 3-1. This was their first win of the season as they beat Brentford at Turf Moor. And this was also a day when Sean Dyche, the manager, reached 9 years as Burnley boss, Claret's boss. So congratulations to Sean Dyche. And Brentford, well, they have had 3 now straight losses, obviously some tough matches as well. But this is the same team which showed a lot of vigor against, a lot of fight back against Liverpool. Remember that 3-3 game? We'll talk about that in a while with Liverpool as well. But currently they remain in 12th. I still don't think they are that kind of club which under Thomas Frank will be fighting for relegation. But definitely leaves some questions up that there are some games where they could have probably stamped their superiority, and this was against Burnley was one game where they could have done it. But kudos to Sean Dyche, who came back to the basics, the long balls, the defensive solidity, very basics of the game on which they have thrived every year in Premier League and survived in the Premier League so far. So Burnley 3, Brentford 1, and Burnley going back to the basics. I hope we see more of those from Sean Dyche, because it's a working formula for Sean Dyche and Burnley team. The next one is really the match of, this is probably the match of this match day 10. This has to be the match of the day, because what a game it was. Liverpool 2, Brighton 2. At one point you thought that this is going to be a repeat of the rout that Manchester United had to face last week. But kudos to Brighton, and kudos to the fact that Graham Potter really is a good manager. I mean, if there was any doubt in his capabilities until now, probably today was a game that anyone has to look at. the teams that play football very well, whether it's like Manchester City or whether it's like Liverpool, they really they thrive against teams that play football as well. They don't thrive, or at least they get found out when there are teams who lay out 10 people behind on their defense. But it's the teams that play football. Good teams love to play them because they can actually score goals and they can open them up easily. So at one point we really thought teams like Brighton or teams like Leeds, right? Liverpool, City, they love playing against such teams. And we thought today was going to be another game where Brighton are going to be opened up and this could be a scoreline which could go to 5-0, 6-0. But what a comeback. Leonardo Trossard as well as Enoch Mwapu, what a goal he scored to bring back the fight and make it 2-1. And of course, they rescued a point for Brighton, but it could easily have been 3-2 or even 4-2. And all the ascendancy that Liverpool had so far in the last few rounds, that very much got curtailed. And Jurgen Klopp had actually been talking about it. It tells actually more about the fact that how bad Manchester United was last week versus how good Liverpool was, because Klopp has been talking about it. Klopp has been talking about the fact that he's not seeing good vibes. I mean, a team which is letting in 3 goals against Brentford cannot be a good defense or cannot be a rock solid defense. And if you have to look at comparisons, you can actually look at Chelsea for that. That Chelsea is one of the teams that is having a rock solid defense with a good goalkeeper as well. Not that Liverpool's goalkeeper is bad, but something is really wrong that Klopp has noticed, and that is the reason why he has continued to criticize his team even though they won 5-0 last time. And today also in the pre-match press conference, he said that we need to give respect to Brighton and this might be the toughest game that they face. He's probably seeing much more than the media folks are seeing. So 2-2, amazing game, and this probably would count for the game of this round. And then we come to the shock of the match day, which was the old club guy of Manchester City, Patrick Vieira, the one of the marquee signings when the era started, the new era under the Sheikhs started in Premier League. The Sheikhs started at Manchester City. Wilfried Zaha and Conor Gallagher scored the 2 goals against a 10-man Manchester City, and this might be more damage for Manchester City than just losing today's game. It also means that Laporte will be not available for the derby next week. So there could be more damage or there could be more trouble for Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. But just coming back to this game, Palace boss Vieira added another away win for another away performance on his name and on his CV, where we know that he was unlucky with Arsenal, who scored a last minute draw, but against City they made sure that they don't give any chance to City to come back. And Eagles, even though they are 13th, the fact is that they just lost twice this season, and it's only because of the 6 draws that they are sitting 13th. And Roy Hodgson's basis was building a solid defense, but Patrick Vieira is actually taking the Eagles a little bit more forward, and this really is telling a lot about Patrick Vieira, and remains to be seen. This might be the season where Patrick Vieira really puts together a big star on his CV, very similar to how we have seen in how Mauricio Pochettino announced himself in Premier League with a win with victories, or with the kind of performance he got in Southampton. And even Graham Potter, the way he announced himself with Swansea and now coming to Brighton, the way they are announcing themselves, it could most likely be the season where they establish their reputation. And of course, we had a usual win as well. Well, usual up till the second half, because in the first half it was definitely the chances were there, but Chelsea won 3-0 at Newcastle, and Reece James scored twice. And at the end, it looked like a very easy routine win for Chelsea. And sometimes you have to do that. In Premier League, the fact is not about the fact that you just don't have to defeat the teams around you, but how well you beat the teams which are at the bottom. Because every day, every round, any team can beat any team on their day. And unfortunately, Newcastle remains winless in the top flight so far. And Norwich and Newcastle clearly until at least the January transfer window, look like the teams who are already bound for relegation. Of course, we know that things will change in the transfer window if the new owners really are serious about making a difference to the club. And Chelsea at the moment, we can say that they're running away with the title. Maybe too early to say that yet, because Christmas is when we start thinking about the title. Right now it's not a moment, because the Christmas fixtures will be gruesome. You will have good many number of games in couple of weeks, and that is when the title races are really not decided, but at least defined how good you are. We have seen so many of those seasons where Chelsea has given away their lead on the Christmas period with some woeful performances during or after the Christmas period. So will this be another season? So far it doesn't look like that, but let's see. The next one we talk about is Watford versus Southampton, and here is my take at it. I think Southampton won against Watford. They needed this win. It was Che Adams' first half finish which did it. And this was only their second win on the road in 18 attempts. Yes, this was only their second win. And this win must have delighted Ralph Hasenhuttl a lot, because he is one of those managers who wants to play attractive football, but given his limitations with the club, he is not able to play it. However, he's also one of those guys who has lost most of the matches from winning positions. So establishing a win today after taking a lead was a big deal. And Watford, well, we thought that they have turned around their season with the marquee win against Everton for Claudio Ranieri, but looks like back to the old days again, or maybe it's their home form which is troubling them. That's what we don't know, and we will get to know more. And lastly, if it wouldn't have been for Liverpool versus Brighton, this probably would have been the most talked about game. Spurs versus Manchester United. Spurs lost 3-0. What did it say about Spurs? Maybe not much. Maybe it's Nuno who is still building the squad. Maybe his players are still getting accustomed to his methods. Maybe Kane isn't 100% and he needs to have some kind of introspection, that is this what he wants to give for the entire season. It's a pretty long season, so the fact that he couldn't get his transfer done, what would that mean for the entire season? Will he continue to play and give these woeful performances like he did today? 0 shots on goal today. So that's less questions on Spurs, but it definitely asks more questions on United. I think I was listening to the podcast that Gary Neville was having, and they are fair questions. Why this performance came after like 10 games, 12 games, if you count the Champions League as well. And why this formation? Why these performances? Why couldn't this be resolved on the training ground earlier? Can this formation last? Because teams will figure out a way to break through Manchester United with this formation as well. You can't last with this formation unless you are extremely good at it. And so far we know that unlike people like Klopp and Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, who can play a particular formation every week, and because they're just too good at it, and even if people know how to break them, they're so good that they just can't get past it. But Manchester United has just learned how to use this formation. Manchester United has just learned how to use this formation, and will they be able to keep themselves disciplined enough to execute it against some very big solid teams? Remains to be seen. And how about the big squad, the attacking squad they have? So this particular match, Ole has sacrificed all the attacking talent that he has at his disposal, whether it's Rashford, whether it's Sancho, whether it's Donny van Beek, whether it's soon to come Martial. So there are so many attacking players that he currently possesses, and if he plays this formation, he has to rotate. There is no other option but to rotate. How does he satisfy all the attacking talent? Many questions with this formation, but a good win. Coming into this game, Ole's job on the line. Definitely United gave a performance, but also probably more questions. How did you like this podcast? Please do let us know. Daily we will come back to you with an update on EPL. This is what we are all about. 100% dedication towards EPL only. No other sports, no other league, because we think this is the league which has so much entertainment. Why focus on other things? Please do like, subscribe and share. And thank you, and we will talk to you tomorrow.